Thank you. I'd like to ask a hypothetical question of Mr. Brennan and then also get Mr. Pistole's answer to it. Let us suppose there is a U.S. attorney in an American city who happens to plan to run for political office, been known to happen. And he is conducting a criminal investigation, so let us say a drug investigation. And in, let us say, an authorized wiretap, gets his smoking gun that will get the indictment that he seeks. But it happens to be one that shows this target's link to Al-Qaeda. What makes you think you're going to get it before he gets the credit by getting his indictment?
I would really like John Pistole to address the issue about how the information would be coming, because, as I said, TTIC is not a collector. What we access is all the information that has been collected by those agencies and departments that have been duly authorized to collect that information. And so information that is coming out of an ongoing case or whatever that the Department of Justice would be involved in, there are mechanisms in place that we can make sure that the FBI and Department of Justice are aware of our interest in information. But I would defer to John as far as how the FBI, Department of Justice, then would make that information or how it would come up to us.
So you have no powers to enforce sharing? In other words, if somebody doesn't come to you and give it to you from one of the agencies, then you have no...
As I said, I can look into John Pistole's electronic communication databases. Anything that comes in from the field to FBI headquarters, we have visibility into that when it comes in. I don't have to rely on John or somebody at FBI headquarters to pass it to us and package it up. We have that real-time visibility into it. So if it, in fact, made its way back from that place, that city, to FBI headquarters, and it was related to terrorism in any fashion whatsoever, we would, in fact, have the ability to see it.
Mr. Pistole.
Thank you. It's a dynamic that we deal with every day in the course of our investigations, with the focus, the shift being to intelligence collection, analysis, exploitation, and dissemination. A decision is made on a daily basis as to which cases should move forward in which arena. Should it be pursued as an intelligence collection? Should it move into the criminal justice arena? With the simple answer is because the Attorney General and the Director discuss these issues every day, they set the tone and make the decisions as to which cases will move forward on a prosecutive track. And so given the support of the Attorney General and obviously the Director to look at everything from an intelligence perspective, we have a number of ongoing investigations right now that prosecution, even though available, is being deferred in lieu of further collection, exploitation, analysis, and dissemination of the intelligence. Obviously, if there's any threat information that comes up, that may cause everything to change instantly. If we have the ability to pull somebody off the street with some type of criminal charge on something else, even though when they start talking about a possible threat, we have that ability, and which is the beauty, if you will, of having the integrated focus of law enforcement intelligence in one agency.
But ultimately, it still depends on the altruism and judgment of the U.S. attorney running the case as to how soon he shares that with headquarters.
Well, a couple issues on that. The FBI, obviously, as the collector of that information, is going to have it before the U.S. attorney will. So the U.S. attorney is not going to be able to prosecute a case until they get the evidence, if you will. The FBI will make the decision in very close coordination with the Department of Justice as to what should be moved forward on a criminal track. We have daily meetings with the Attorney General, the head of the criminal division of the Department of Justice, the Deputy Attorney General, myself, the Director, the head of the criminal division. All these people are discussing these very issues on a daily basis. Again, that's the dynamic we deal with in a post-9/11 environment.
But you're describing a process that is inherently going to put days, maybe weeks of delay before it comes from the collection in the criminal case to Mr. Brennan's attention.
No, I disagree with that, sir, because he is still getting the information that is collected. As soon as that is collected and put into, obviously, the FBI
That's
system.
the key. It has to be put into the sharing system.
True.
And U.S. attorneys don't like to share.
The U.S. attorneys don't control that aspect of it, if you will. And obviously, they are close partners in any type of movement, whether it's material support or material witness warrants, whatever it may be. But it is that collection that is provided through TTIC, through any number of means. But the prosecutorial decision is made at a headquarters level in close concert with the U.S. attorneys and our special agents in charge of each of the offices. But that's part of the benefit of having a centralized, integrated approach to each investigation.
Thank you. I have one last question of Mr. Pavitt. In 1986, the CTC was set up precisely to fuse what was going on in the terrorist threat world. On September 11th, what went wrong?
Well, as I said in my statement, Commissioner, we simply failed to uncover the necessary intelligence, penetrate al-Qaeda at the appropriate level, at the leadership level, to stop the attacks. In 1986, I think in truly a bureaucratic, breaking way, the intelligence community, the CIA in particular, looked at something, took a vice presidential commission recommendation, and created a center. It caused all sorts of issues. People fought it. People did not want to be a part of it. But what it did was merge analyst and operator in a way never merged before. It put operational traffic in the hands of the analyst. It brought in, by 1989, a host of people from outside of CIA, FBI, Secret Service, FAA, NSA, and many, many others. And it was a very significant step forward in doing something against what was perceived in 1986 as an extraordinarily important target, better than we were doing it. And it set the standard, if you will, and became the model for other creations, proliferation, counterintelligence. I cannot, in public session, give you the number, although I think, Commissioner, you know the number of people we had in CTC on the 10th of September. Woefully inadequate to the threat that was out there. As I've said, it is tripled. It's more than tripled if you count people who are not actually staff officers of CIA or other agencies. We're still struggling to deal with the volume of information that we're receiving. There's nobody who would like to be able to answer your question more definitively than I just have than me. That the reason we failed is because we didn't care. The reason we failed is because we weren't working hard. The reason we failed is because we were not recruiting spies overseas. The reason we failed is because we did not have good technical operations. We were doing all those things. But 19 people, as Commissioner Fielding has said repeatedly, and I think most appropriately, simply beat us, all of us. I believe that CTC was the right model. Given its staffing today, given the kind of dynamic operations and the kind of product that we're producing today, and I mean analytic product as well, we are making significant headways. The 11th was a terrible tragedy. Prior to the 11th, other terrible tragedies were stopped because of CTC. American lives were unambiguously saved because of what they did. And let me make sure that I don't just put this on CTC's shoulders. CTC is an operational / with analytic capability organization, but it is also something which all of my stations and bases around the world support. My chief of station in country X or country Y is driving counter-terrorist operations today and was prior to the 11th. We tried to put the right focus on this. It was an incredibly difficult target. Remember that absolutely chilling video that we all saw with Osama bin Laden sitting with some of those who murdered our citizens, laughing and talking about some of those people that were in the 19 did not know what was going to happen. That's not an excuse, sir. It's not an excuse. But it does give you some sense of just how damn difficult it was to get in there and do it. I would like to promise this commission, I'd like to promise the people who are listening to what we're saying today, that I have now in place, because of the largesse of Congress or the largesse of the executive, I have in place what's necessary to stop this from happening again. I can't say that. I know that we have in place vastly better capability, and as a result, we will do much better. But the threat is absolutely ominous. It's constant, it's changing, it's evolving. And to make sure that we don't have it happen again is something I can't stand before this commission and say I'm able to do.
Thank you all.